Hello, friends. Welcome to Soul Shift Coaching. I am David Hale. Thank you for being here. I have two questions for you that we're going to chew on today for a few minutes. The first one is, how do you examine your ways? And the second one, who speaks life into you? How do you examine your ways? And who speaks life into you? I don't know about you, but it's very easy for me to stay in my own head for way too long. The mind's ability to rationalize and justify all of our actions and words and deeds are incredible. When I was at the VA center many moons ago, the lead doctor honed in on me for one session for about a straight hour in front of the whole group there. And what the main takeaway there was that it is the mind's job to be right. It is our mind's job to be right, to give us an attaboy, attagirl, don't worry about that, justify that, rationalize that. It's our mind's job to be right. And every time we say but, this was another thing that he said, which will really blow your mind if you think about it. Every time we use the word but, it is the I know mind consolidating its territory. Yeah, I know, but. Sure, but. However, but, right? It's just saying, no, I'm defending my territory. I'm building my walls. I'm fortifying my foundation, and I am right, and I'm not open. Now, granted, look, it's not across the board. It's not ubiquitous. But our mind wants to be right because it's the easier, softer way. And when we use the word but, it's a way very often for us to close off what could be a wonderful opportunity. And I say that all in light of, how do you examine your ways? I have two suggestions for you in how to ensure that you are at least being open to the reality behind your ways. One is prayer and one is journaling. When I work with people, often they think they know what they eat and how much they eat. And I say hogwash. Write down everything you eat for a full week and you will be shocked at actually what you consume. It's the same thing with our thoughts and our words and our feelings. Journaling provides that running dialogue for us to, first and foremost, put down on the paper that running narrative in our head. The average person has tens of thousands of thoughts a day, hundreds of thousands of thoughts a month, and millions a year. And if we're going to want to truly step forward into our calling, living this transformed life, well, we need to look at those words and those adjectives and those verbs that we use day in and day out. Of the tens of thousands of thoughts that we have, 95% are repetitive. Journaling will allow us to actually see what we're thinking. When we see what we're thinking, we can then identify the words that we just have on repeat. And if you're stuck, like I was and I get, because we all get stuck, looking at those words and those verbs and those adjectives that we have on repeat, that's why we're stuck. We keep using the same words and we keep creating the same story and we live into our stories that we create. Journaling is a daily discipline that will allow you to, at least nothing else, to identify the words that you're using day in and day out. Because if you're stuck, if you have goals that you haven't achieved, if the relationships have run dry, if work has lost its zest, if you're just on autopilot going through the motions, well then, first place you need to check is with yourself, examining your ways. And one of the ways we do that is through journaling. I strongly suggest you get a pen and a paper, a book, and I have about 15 of them behind me. And you get a journal and you just start writing. And if you don't know what to write, just say, I don't know what to write. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm starting. And that's it. And that's all you need. And as time unfolds, you will get better and better at it. And a close complement to that, and maybe the way I use prayers to inform my journaling, is to say, okay, well, how do I examine my ways, looking at our thoughts and journaling? The next thing is, who speaks life into me? Who speaks life into you? Finding individuals who, obviously it's important to have people who love you in your life that speak life into you, but you also need you need a mentor. You need an outside objective third party that can call you on your stuff, call me on my stuff, but also to speak truth, because The reality is that truth is truth by itself, right? Truth is revealed to us. Truth exists, and it's upon us to go out and find it and to seek it. And if it's my job, if it's my mind's job to be right, well, then how often can I distort truth? Through rationalization and justification, my truth can just kind of fade away, and it can just become my reality or what I want to be true rather than the actual truth. But because of the mind's job to be right, it's far too easy for us to just do a slow fade into the reality or the truth we want to create rather than standing on actual truth. I'm not the first to say it. People have been saying it for thousands of years. Truth is exclusive in and of itself, right? It excludes all other options. 2 + 2 = 4. Because it equals 4, it excludes every other flipping number on the number line. So truth has its own essence. It has its own reality outside of what we want it to be. And because we have the rationalization and justification of the I know mind, it's very important to bring people into our lives to speak truth to us, to speak reality. And even though they are a flawed person, we are all flawed, we all fall short of the glory of God. However, God uses imperfect people to carry out his perfect plan. Why? Because that's all he has. All he has is imperfect people. And what we need to do is invite people into our lives who we trust and have confidence in and give permission to speak life and truth into our lives. So my question is, who does that for you? Yes, a spouse, a boyfriend, a girlfriend. Those are great. But you also need someone that's just further down the path than you. They can be younger than you. They could be further down the path of transformation, further in their spiritual walk. It doesn't matter age per se, but normally, a few years older, 5, 10 years older, what have you. Think of someone. I challenge you. Write a few names down in your journal the next time you're journaling tomorrow morning. And start writing down some possibilities and then pray for it. Pray for God to enlighten the path for you so you can start walking down this path of mentorship. Inviting that person into your life. It's bold. It's courageous. It allows us to examine our ways at a deeper level. Because if we're not examining our ways, if we're not opening ourselves up to the light from above to illuminate the truth and the reality to who we are and where we are, well, then that I know mind is just going to dominate everything. You want to know why marriages and relationships get into trouble? It's because of the I know mind. I don't want to be in a relationship. I want to be right. I don't care if I'm wrong. I want to win this argument. Do you know why we tend to do the slow fade with our health? Because we rationalize. What's one more meal? What's one more bite? What's one more holiday season? What's one more day? I'll get started tomorrow. Why do we stay in jobs too long? Because we rationalize, this is just easy. I know it. There's no friction here. There's no resistance. I just show up, do my job, and leave. Well, considering how much time we spend at work, you might want to think about what you're putting into it. A man, a woman reaps what they sow. If you're sowing boredom, if you are sowing being stuck, if you are sowing inertia, well, then that's what you're going to reap. See, inviting those people into our lives to speak truth and to speak life into us and starting to write down, journaling those thoughts and those ideas that are on repeat in our minds will bring to light those things in our life that are keeping us stuck. The reality is that we all have a handful of core hurts, core traumas, core things that happened through no fault of our own more often than not. They happened in our childhood, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, whatever it is. And out of those core hurts and traumas, what happens is we learn certain defense mechanisms to keep us safe. And what happens is as we go through life, if we don't journal and really inspect and examine our ways, and if we don't invite people into our lives to speak life to us and call us on our stuff, well, then those core hurts and traumas stay with us throughout our whole lives. And it controls literally our responses to life. And the only thing that we can control in this life is our response to it. So it's hyper important. It's absolutely fundamental to transformation. It's absolutely vital to a transformative, meaningful life that we actually look at those core hurts and those core traumas, to identify them so we can, and bring light to them so we can drop them. You can't drop anything you don't identify. And you can't identify anything that you don't allow to bubble up to the surface. And one of the ways we do that is through journaling, examining our ways, and inviting someone into our life to speak truth and to speak life into us. Pray about it, dear friends. Pray about the revelation that we all need when we're journaling. Pray about having those deep insights into why we do what we do, especially because 95% of our thoughts are on repeat. And then pray about inviting that person into your life. And you will be shocked at what the good Lord above presents to you. See, as we journal and invite people into our lives, we become more and more open. And remember, closed fists, closed hands can't receive anything. Open hands, though, are able to receive. And then we learn to pass it on. And it becomes that continuous, virtuous, meaningful, hopeful, joyful cycle of receiving the abundance and the hope and the joy of transformation, and then passing it on to the spheres of influence. So then one day you can be the person that someone asks to invite them into their world to speak truth and to speak life. If you've liked this content, my dear friends, please give me a thumbs up, leave a message. I'd love to hear from you. And subscribe to the channel. That'd be great. You can also see down in the description box below 2 links. One is my coaching site, soulshift.org, where you can go there and learn more about me, my style, and my approach. And another one is book coaching, where you can schedule a free consultation and you can invite me into your world just for a minute, because I'd be honored and privileged to talk about how we can walk down this path of transformation together, bringing truth and bringing life into your world, more so than what you already have, because there's nothing worse than having a half loaf of bread. There's nothing worse than doing the hokey pokey, 1 foot out and 1 foot in, thinking we're doing a whole bunch of stuff, spinning ourselves around, and then coming back and realizing we're in the exact same position. It's not what I want for you. I want transformation, a regeneration, a refreshing, and I'd be honored and privileged if you invited me into your world. Stand tall, my dear friends. Stand firm. You're worth it.